It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Nothing gets more feel-good than your love, and that's what we're talking about this morning on your Feel-Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso, and we're live on 3. Thanks for joining us. Well, we're talking about long-distance relationships. Can it be a big issue and a problem, or is it really romantic? But statistics say otherwise. We've got Dr. Eve in our studio this morning, taking your calls on 083 9133 728 if you have a question or comment about long-distance relationships. So now we've been on holiday, and the romance or the fling is left behind, and you're on the other side of either the country or maybe the world. What are your thoughts? Is there a limit as to how often you should see each other to keep the spark, that fire, to keep it alive?
The rule of long-distance relationships surviving is that when you say goodbye to each other, you have to have a date of when you're going to see each other again. If it's left kind of just too open-ended, it's very difficult to keep that relationship going, because then there's nothing to look forward to. You have to have plans. You almost have to have dates, like long-distance dates, that you know this weekend we're going to be together, we're going to go away, or we're going to plan. So almost normalizing it by making sure, because leaving uncontained spaces is very insecure. And that's where jealousy comes in. We have to talk about jealousy and insecurity, because it takes a certain type of personality and somebody who has a certain sense of self-esteem to be able to tolerate a long-distance relationship without just saying, this is too much, I can't do it, I feel too jealous, I feel too insecure. It depends on what we call your attachment, your ability to attach. If you can have something which is called a secure attachment to yourself, and you really feel, I am an independent person, I can get on with my life, I'm able to continue with my relationships and keep my social support going, then you're going to have a better chance of having a long-distance relationship.
But Doctor, even listening to you speaking, the goal that you mentioned could even be, your own relationship. Like you set a goal for yourself, saying we're going to have a date at the end of the month, or next week, or every Wednesday, or whatever the case may be. Current statistics show that it can last about 4.5 months before you have problems in your long-distance relationship. What are the most important things to keep in mind to make it work? Now, you said to set a date, to have something to look forward to. Is there something else to break the stigma, the 4.5 months of we're going to not be together anymore?
I think it depends on your lifestyle as well. If you are somebody who's going to be very distracted and not give attention to this relationship and find it very hard to do that, you're not going to be able to last. The jealousy and the insecurity really come into it. If you find that that is intolerable for you, if you can't communicate with each other and set what's called boundaries, it's going to be very difficult to maintain it.
We're going to our, thank you, Doctor. We're going to our phone lines this morning, 083 9133 728. Brendan from Johannesburg, you're live on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. What's your question or comment?
Hi, Nana, how are you?
Very good. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you. Dr. Eve, hello, how are you?
Hi, wonderful, thank you.
Okay, thank you. My question is I've actually heard that you said earlier on concerning the, when we actually in a long-distance relationship, and it actually helps because you don't want to be, certain couples don't want to be seen or don't want to see their partner every day. But I've been in a long-distance relationship for like 3.5 years. And what I found was that, when you actually apart, don't the basics actually count? Because now you want to build a relationship and you want to know what makes your partner tick. What makes her angry, what makes me angry. If you're leaving your dirty socks on the floor, etc., So what would you give advice concerning someone who's building a relationship and you want to make it stronger? Wouldn't communication and being around a person actually help, or being apart? I don't really understand.
I think it's really different. I think that this notion of we have to be together all the time to have a relationship is ridiculous. So people, also you don't need to, and this is what technology shows us, you don't need to be together to know each other. If you are communicating via technology, you actually become way more what's called intimate and self-disclosing, because you don't have the other cues. I can look at leigh-anne and I can see her face and I can see what she's feeling, even the way she's dressed or the way she's sitting. You don't have that long distance unless, of course, you're on Skype. So you have to use very rich textured language to communicate how you feel. And that really pushes people to have to talk about how they feel. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to sustain that. And that can be way more intimate than a face-to-face relationship. So there are lots of advantages to long distance, and you're able to maintain your 3.5-year distance because you're not dealing with everyday conflict and everyday domesticity. Yes, thank you for that. Which couples have and which really kill a relationship. So you're able to sustain the romance and even the sex while you
Yes.
are long distance apart from each other. And perhaps also you prolong in something which wouldn't work normally. But also you may be very happy because you get to have your independent life. You don't have to pick up each other's socks, which I think is pretty disgusting in any case. And you can really have your own manifestation of your very rich life. And then when you are with each other, you're sharing wonderful times together. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Brendan, thank you so much for your call this morning, and Dr. Eve for your response. Who wears socks in summer anyway? Listen, you can give us a call, 083-913-3728. We're talking about long-distance relationships this morning. In fact, you are talking about it on the streets as well. We took to the streets to find out what you think of long-distance relationships.
If I were in a long-distance relationship, I don't know, I need that person, I need to see them and find out who they are, and I don't know, maybe a month longest.
The longest I could go without seeing someone would maybe be, I'm going to say max 6 months. Like after that, you're going to have to give me a little refresher.
When you're unsure of when you are going to see one another, that's when I think complications arise.
Probably like maybe 6 months. I'm an only child, so I'm used to being on my own.
If you do make set dates whether it's like 2 years or a year, 3 months, then at least you do know that you're going to see the person. So it just eases tension and I guess anxiety of not being with the person.
A month or so, that would probably be the limit for me.
There's no limit. You just know, okay, I love you, and that's the most important thing of it all.
Dr. Eve says, I like this guy. This
He's
last one, I
cool.
like him because he's about the love. He's about the love. Dr. Eve is going to stay with us for your calls on 083-913-3728. I might have gotten that number wrong, so keep watching the screen. Stay with us. This is Expresso. We'll be back after the break.
Home